Sprint Cup is go, and a good getaway is made by Rovera. Dennis Marshall tries to defend as the field accelerates down towards turn one. Charles Wirtz on the outside line there. Can the BMW dive through? Not easily. He gets roughed up a little bit as Valentino Rossi goes third. There's one car skipping its way across the infield of turn one into turn two, but it's Rovera that leads. Marshall is second. Rossi is third, and way out wide there goes Chris Lulham's Red Bull liveried Ferrari. That's got a little bit of damage already. He's round the outside of Maxime Martin, but Lulham has gone backwards and he's still in strife.
Terrible start from Lulham. He was slow off the line as Martin gets turned around. I think that could have been Klingman in the back of him. Lulham was slow. Wirtz was on the front foot. Ben Green has had a monster start, and now Lulham has rear right suspension. Klingman has front left. This could go full course yellow.
Good indeed. I think it'll go safety car in fairness. Within the first 3 laps, there's a massive gaggle coming down towards turn 8. Something's got to give. Well, we've already got Maxime Martin off the road. Anybody else to get themselves in trouble? You can see a gap has opened up after the leading 6 or so. Maxime Martin's race then almost as an end. We've gone green, in fact, so looks like Martin has continued, but there with a very broken car is Chris Lulham. He is out of the race on the opening lap of the race. It all got very crowded coming down towards turn 6, did it not? And we know that Maxime Martin was spat out, so number 9 Mercedes is out of the race, and it looks as though we might be able to survive, at least for now. And we have a yellow in sector 2 because of Lulham's car that has stopped. We do go safety car then. Safety car call by Niels Vitic within the first 3 laps, go straight to safety car rather than FCY. So safety car will greet them at the end of the opening lap, and what a hectic lap it was.
That really was. Fellas done well in that lead. Porsche out of the group. The safety car going very slow. There could be a huge concertina effect here. Hopefully they can go. Klingman trying to get that car back. Where was he hit? Was that somewhere at the start? I thought this was the car that turned the Mercedes and Martin around. It seems not, as cars are starting to concertina up. We've seen a few cars lock up under braking as well. The Ferrari of Arthur Leclerc, is that smoking? The rear right seems to be not happy with some regard, but it was really the bad start from Lulham in that Verstappen car that seemed to unsettle everything. Tyre looks okay. It's the right side here, isn't it?
Yeah.
Something rubbing. Is it diffuser onto the tyre? That's going to go pop relatively soon.
Right, let's try and piece it all together. This is the start. So Chris Lulham is slow away, and round one side of him went Charles Wirtz. That was the field blasting underneath the camera. Have a look. Lulham goes to try to defend, but it's too late. There's contact there, I think, as well. Now, Jens Klingman's white BMW comes around the outside. So far, so good. Off the road goes one of the Audis by the look of it. And Klingman there is okay. That's Lulham going way wide. Right, Jens Klingman's BMW was going to go to the inside of Maxime Martin as they headed up towards turn 3. On the outside line there is Leclerc. He runs out of road, and coming out of the corner, yeah, Klingman was sideways and then hit Martin.
Yeah, who was on Klingman's left? Was that Lulham again? It looked like a Ferrari to me, but I actually think that was the damage to Klingman, was the car on his inside as we go on board with Dan Harper. A bit further back, you can see Klingman in front, so that's what we need to be looking at.
Isn't that Ricardo Fella?
That's Fella, but watch Klingman out of this next set of double rights. There's a Ferrari on his left, I thought, and it's Lulham at this moment in time.
Yeah.
And it's Lulham's contact, I think, now that damages Klingman. So Klingman fires Martin, that's on Klingman. Lulham hits into Klingman, that's on Lulham. And it's kind of Martin's the only innocent party out of the 3.
Here we go. Green flag, green lights, racing again. Way wide goes Valentino Rossi, almost joining his fans in the stands. Over the line, Rovera leads the way then. Marshall is second, third is Rossi, fourth is Green, fifth is Niederhauser, Porsche, and sixth is Charles Wirtz as the drivers accelerate down towards turn 1, and now Rovera tries to rebuild the lead. Dennis Marshall chasing after him, but with respect, Marshall is not in the fight for the win because that car will have to make a slow regulation pit stop. It'll drop out of the equation.
Tell that to Marshall to get a scalp of a Ferrari factory driver in an AF Corsa car.
There, big battle on. You've got Dan Harper versus Ricardo Fella's Porsche with a bit of damage on the back of it. The Porsche through on the inside. And Valentino Rossi, the best of the non-Ferrari battle. There's a yellow in sector 3 now, which is the final sector of the lap. So somebody may be in drama, and it is Engelhardt who's way off the road coming out of turn 16. Now, was that with a little bit of help? He's gone around, he's found the tyre wall. Race control hoping he can fire it up and drive away. Otherwise, it's going to be another interruption as the leaders power their way down that back straight. Yeah, full course yellow in 10 seconds. Right, and there, the Lamborghini came across the front of Eddie Cheever and off it went. So he didn't so much get turned around with the Ferrari up the inside, it was on the outside and the Lamborghini trying to come across the front. This is Cheever's view.
This will be a mega shot. Does Cheever actually pit manoeuvre him from the outside is going to be my question. There's a slight contact here. Whose fault is it? It's Engelhardt. He has a wobble coming off the apex curve and just wipes himself off front of Cheever. So Cheever, Funny-Ilison and Engelhardt there just pushing too hard. The car having a snap of oversteer as it's launched itself over the curb. I'd imagine when it's landed, it's compressed the tyre, the suspension, and then it's just let go and high-sided him.
The full course yellow is ending on short notice now, and look at Dennis Marshall on his toes, much better than Rovera. Had a go on the outside line. There was no real need to do that, but he's a racing driver. Yeah,
he had to fill the gap. He wasn't going to lift off. Rivera was clever there with his positioning of the car. He just put it to the inside, so if he did get caught napping, he was already defending, and that's just the difference in the engineers calling it. It's over the race control radio too. How brave are you taking the limiter off from the 80k? Ben Green has definitely dropped back off the back of Rossi. Rossi in his own space needs to be careful of track limits. He's the only car in the top 9 with any warnings, and he's got 3.
So it's not looking great in terms of Valentino Rossi if he stays in that early aggressive mode, using the curb. Big battle going on here. Look, between 21 of Jamie Day and Ezekiel Perez Companc, and that's for the lead of Silver, and it changes. Jamie Day goes through. The Aston Martin picks up the class lead, and you've also got Benji Goethe there on the inside line trying to get past the pair, which he does, so good move. Through he goes, and we understand from people trackside there's a report of a bit of light rain starting to fall now, so that could be something else just to throw this race into the air. It's been dramatic enough already, and we've only done 6 laps. We've had a safety car, we've had a full course yellow, and now 1 or 2 spots of rain starting to fall as well. Let's have another look at what went on at the start. So this is coming from the drone out of turn 2 into 3. You'll see Chris Lulham's car go way out wide and then back onto the racetrack as the cars accelerate up towards turn 4. Now have a look for the white BMW with Jens Klingmann, relative. It's already happened. He got into Martin, and Chris Lulham's car damaged as well. So it's all kicked off. You see Lulham out wide, and Klingmann, I think he did get lent on again, but only just as they went down that back straight. But as he said at the time, masterful avoidance by everybody else trying to find a way past.
I think they're going to box Rivera. They do, because cars leaving pit lane were going to be on his outlap, on their outlap, getting in his way.
Yeah.
So they box. Marshall stays out. He could get held up by traffic. Rossi in pit lane, pushing all the way to the line. You can loosen your belts. One hand must stay on the wheel. You can't drop the window net, so we're not going to see any more of that, I hope. Green is in. Feller stays out like we expected. Wirtz, interestingly, stays out. I would have thought they would want the undercut, and some now getting to work.
Maybe WRT didn't want to double stack the cars. So if you bring Rossi in, you need to keep one out just to buy some space. So there to the end of the pit lane comes Valentino Rossi. Perfect place for the release because he just goes straight out and away down the pit lane. Behind you saw Patrick Niederhauser come in to give way to Sven Muller. Away goes then now Vincent Abril in the number 51 Ferrari. Sorry, that was the Ben Green car. So Konsta Lapalainen. There now is Vincent Abril in the AF Corsa car. He wasn't delayed at all, I don't think. That was a decent stop.
Mariello's lost a load of time. Look at the gap to the Ferrari here of Abril. It was new tyres for Mariello. I didn't see what went on this 51 car. The new tyres, if it's not new tyres on the 51, could be a swing of anything up to 5 seconds for that WRT, the 46 car.
Right, so away goes Abril now. That pit stop, 68.7 seconds. What about Mariello, as he will break the beam quicker, 68.6. He had that car had dropped back before the pit stop. I think the time lost was on track rather than in the pit. So by 1/10 of a second, the BMW stopped better than the Ferraris. You're on board here with Sven Muller, who is determined to try to find a way past Konsta Lapalainen on the exit. Sven Muller up the inside into turn 6, and he's got the job done, has he? Well, he sort of roughs up Lapalainen, but yeah, Muller goes through. He was racing in British GT at Snetterton last week, and we saw that he got his elbows out there as well.
Yeah, he was pretty brutal. That front bumper got a lot of work on his Porsche that weekend, and the side of that car, a bit of a wobble through 8. They're both on their outlap. This is the first time these drivers have driven today.
Yeah.
They haven't been in the cars, so your first attack is on an outlap in a GT3 car in the dusk. That's pretty epic from Muller to be on it that quickly.
Absolutely right. Right, down the pit lane goes Van der Linde. Is that stop going to help, and by how much? It's a long drive down the pit lane. The lights are flashing because the pit lane limiter is on. It's all part of that process. Van der Linde will wait till he gets to the pit exit line, and then he'll be able to accelerate away. There's a whole queue behind him.
Muller, isn't it?
It is going to be close. He accelerates away now, and the BMW will just be ahead of the Porsche. So BMW ahead now. It's gained track position, but Muller is on the outside line as they get down towards turn 4. The Porsche couldn't clear the BMW there, so he's got the slot back in. 67.6, another very, very good stop. Not the best yet, but a pretty good effort. The Rutronic stop actually was the best we've had, 66.9 seconds.
Yeah, for Sven Muller in that Porsche we're looking at right now. They've been quick all season in the pit stops, Rutronic, nearly jumped them a couple of places just in the pits. Seeing car 10 lose a wheel here, the rear right gets detached. Hopefully the barrier does its job and pushes it away. Luckily it should be able to get back to pit lane, but that will attract a penalty.
Into the pit lane eventually does come number 10, says Argazzo then, but that was another car from the Silver Cup. Bad day for Boutsen, but pretty much now, if you're in the Bronze Cup, you're in the pit, so we're going to get a very different order come the end of the next lap of the race. So there you have going through number 58. That is now Louis Pret, still clear in gold. And as anticipated, of course, with its regulation time of 80 seconds, Dustin Blattner will lead in bronze, potentially, but in the overall order, a long way down now. As we've been saying, the bronze cars have to do a pit stop of 80 seconds, whereas all the other classes can be as quick as you like. So it's a natural pit stop for those, and inevitably, the Bronze Cup entrants fall down the order. Vincent Abril then leads the way, sector 2. He's lost a little bit of time, so it's a bit cat and mouse this. And then in third place, you've got Kelvin van der Linde. So they've won big again on the pit stops, haven't they? Because they were, what, 6th before the window?
On the back of Engsler here. We've got to run onto the back straight. We're going to see the performance difference. Engsler squeezing us all the way to the white line. This should be job done for Mauro Engel now. Engel
through on the inside going into turn 11. Job done. Yep, does it at 12, in fact. So Mauro Engel makes the move, and through he has gone. So Engel's Mercedes looking rapid. He's chipping his way back up the order. The reigning Sprint Cup champion with Lucas Auer. The lead gap then, 1.2 seconds still between Abril and Marciello. The BMWs, WRT cars as well, always seem to go well around here. It's a circuit that suits Valentino Rossi. There he is, it's his home track, and he's getting a little bit more interested in life, a bit more confident, because he can see that gap may well be under a second. This time it is. It's only 0.4 of a second as they go across the line. 9 minutes on the clock, 0.4, split the top two. Raffaele Marciello could be on for a hero's return to Sprint Cup here.
It really is on, and I think Abril's actually struggling with the car more than Marciello getting faster, and the rear of that Ferrari not looking particularly planted. Have they gone too high on the tyre pressures? Have the tyres fallen off a cliff? Marciello will now be looking to place the move. Where's it going to be? The back straight is an obvious place. He's able to look to the inside here. The Ferrari always strong with traction mid-engine versus front-engine BMW. It's going to be a difficult move for Marciello. Abril will know this is for the race lead and will defend it as hard as he can.
Raffaele Marciello, we know, he's one of the best GT drivers out there. Thinks about the inside and look up the road. There's a back marker as well they're going to come across in a moment. Is this going to help or hinder the Ferrari? Tough times these for Abril. Look at the graphic just to reinforce the point that over the last 5 laps, quicker than the average in the class has been Marciello. Now they've got to dive past that slower car and go down towards turn 8. Vincent Abril makes the move late up the inside line. Good move through on the inside. Marciello goes by now. So you're on board with that BMW. Let's listen.
Yes, it's Abril, only 1 track limit.
Marciello almost into the back of Abril there. Now, which car has got better grunt coming off turn 10? It's the aero-friendly Ferrari versus the grunt-and-go BMW. Marciello in the slipstream. Is he going to pull to the inside? Yes, he is. Is there a gap? Yes, there is. Marciello elbows out, goes through. Side by side, he's got the inside line for the next corner. Raffaele Marciello leads. That was brave, brave, brave.
And the WRT garage goes wild. Even Vince Abril just thought he couldn't hold it, but he defended way too late, and Marciello already had the speed on it. Hard for the drivers in these conditions with how dark it is to exactly see the car, but he moved across too late. Marciello's speed, we saw the lap before, 7 or 8 Ks more, and he was a car length and a half, 2 car lengths closer as they exited onto the back straight. Easy move in the end.
So, over the line, new race leader, Raffaele Marciello. He's not a regular in GT3 machinery anymore. He's not a regular in the Sprint Cup. First time he's raced this car in sprint. And Raffaele Marciello accelerates then now up from turn 3 ahead of Vincent Abril, who now is the hunter rather than the hunted. And this is how the lead changed.
just popped to the inside. Abril then made a second jig. Mariello wouldn't have appreciated that one, I don't think. We saw a similar thing, didn't we, between Mariello and the Rover BMW at Spa and another AF course Ferrari. It got physical there. This time the blows were relatively minor. Gets the car stopped, and I think Abril has nothing to reply with. We go on board. You watch Abril come midway and then has a second jig. Too late, and we have to take all the curb. 245 kilometers an hour. Yeah, definitely. And that car written off at Spa, so that's a new car to the team there at CSA, actually an old JP Motorsport car, so they only picked up last week, so they wouldn't have had the time to do the full prep they would have wanted to on that one.
Full course yellow is ending on short notice, so the teams will be back to green flag conditions very shortly now, as the call is given to go back to green and everybody quickens the pace.
Interesting, that forces us into the next lap being the last. It was close as a lead, a battle change there, sorry.
Yeah, that's Mauro Engel having a go at Sven Muller then. So Mauro was on his toes on the restart, couldn't go around the outside of the Porsche, ducks up the inside, gets crowded, can't do it. So yeah, the pace of the race slightly slowed, as you say. That trips us onto the last lap then. This is for fourth in Pro. Engel trying one side then the other. That is a wide old Porsche, but Mauro Engel knows this is a good chance. He has a go on the inside coming into turn 16, and yet again gets a face full of Porsche.
And this has been a really good stint for Engel here, and this is the last lap. They will both be fighting for every last point. Let's forget the championship. Engel trying to go around the outside of one, inside of two.
And he's going to do it because he goes a little bit deep there and he moves himself up past Sven Muller. Mauro Engel with some brave, robust driving makes it stick and pulls away. That Mercedes much better in these cooler late evening conditions than for the rest of the day. And was that a flash on the lights by Muller? A little bit aggrieved by all of that, I fear.
It was the second flash. He was on the flash before the move had even finished on the exit of two. He must have felt that Engel was roughing him up before that. I thought there was a slight tap and run at 14. I wonder if Engel was fully on side as they came into. Was he on the track? One person who won't care at all is Raffaele Mariello. Yes, it's a German car, two Italian drivers. One of them has had a stint that has been phenomenal in Mariello, and the other one, Valentino Rossi.
So Raffaele Mariello doing a really good job in this race, fighting back to make up for the ground that was lost by Valentino in the first stint. And Mariello is going to bring that car home then as he turns now up to the last few corners. It's not going to be Valle behind the wheel, but the crowd care not, because their car, if you like, that was started by Valentino Rossi is going to win this fifth race in GT World Challenge Europe, powered by AWS Sprint Cup on Misano soil. Yet again a win for Valentino Rossi and Raffaele Mariello, their first win together as a combination, and it is a third Misano win for Valentino Rossi, a 15th Sprint Cup win for Raffaele Mariello, and an excellent job done for the WRT team. Raffaele Mariello's first win with BMW, as I say, a third win for Valentino Rossi, all of which have come here, and a 10th Sprint Cup win as well for BMW, and a 53rd Sprint Cup win for WRT. The numbers just keep on falling, but there's more to come, in as much as we've got Louis Pret winning in gold with Tom Fleming, Alex Arco, Ezekiel Perez compact win in silver, and Dustin Blattner and Dennis Marshall win in bronze. You could argue that was never in a massive amount of doubt, but a great drive by both of them. And Valentino Rossi, who is only doing occasional races in the SRO paddock this year, well, it was worth doing this one.
It really was. We spoke to him, didn't we, 15-20 minutes ago, and there was no chance of winning. Pace was too similar to the Ferrari, and then suddenly this man Mariello, and he also didn't do a single track limit, and that at Misano is phenomenal. That's like when you've got an addiction trying to steer clear of it, and he has done that. The track limits that Rossi gave him, of course, but what a stint.
So delighted Valentino Rossi and Raffaele Mariello.
Hello, that's a victory. Well done, mate. Back to back for Valle also. Well done, mate.
Right, drivers are heading to a podium. Let's have a look at the result. Valentino Rossi and Raffaele Mariello, the winners by a second and a half from Alessio Rovera and Vincent Abril, Charles Witt and Calvin van der Linde the third. Off the podium, fourth, Lucas Sauer and Mauro Engel, ahead of Patrick Niederhauser and Sven Muller. Sixth to Benji Goethe and Marvin Kirchhofer from Ben Green and Conta Lapalainen, then Jordan Pepper and Luca Engschler, with ninth Tom Fleming and Louis Pret winning in gold, and 10th winning in silver Ezekiel Perez Compact and Alex Arca, and 16th the winning bronzes, Dennis Marshall and Dustin Blattner. We started with 43 and we had effectively 36 of them make it to the end. So it was quite frantic early on. A word for Maxime Martin and Lucas Stolz. Remember how they got turned into the barriers early on? Well, they recovered to finish in 20th place. That is pretty commendable, given how bleak their chances looked early on. Right, let's get to the podium. And they are victorious for the second time this season. Our first double winners, therefore. Right, Dan Harper, Darren Lung pose with their trophies. Darren's eager with the champagne. Oh no, more photographs. A bit presumptuous there, Darren. Right, now he's ready. Go, bangs the bottle. Cork. Oh no, so after all that, it's not happening for him. So now it works. And Darren Lung soaks anybody he can find, largely Dan Harper. But Darren Lung absolutely determined to join the champagne fight. Well done to all 6 of the drivers. Dennis Marshall and Dustin Blattner are ahead in the championship from Darren Lung, who's had different co-drivers in the Brands Hatch and Zandvoort and Misano weekends. Bashar Mardini and Bastien Bous third. Augusto Farfus, who was with Darren Lung at Zandvoort, is next ahead of Isaac Tumla Lopez, and then Arthur Rougier